Good morning and welcome to the second installment of Saturday Morning Snippets. Hope to keep this brief, but we will be sharing a brief passage every Saturday morning and a little bit of lesson from that's designed to encourage and enthuse you in your walk with Christ. We are reading today from John chapter 4, and the background of this is Jesus has sent his disciples ahead of him. They're going to acquire food and see what the surrounding area is. He's alone at a well. He's very tired, he's thirsty, and a woman comes along who has a history that we would all judge, and she was judged by that. So she had to go to the well at the time that the other women didn't go, and she met Jesus there alone. And he has a conversation with her, reveals to her her past that would be sordid in the eyes of the world, and shares with her that he is the Messiah. Now, this is where we pick up. Jesus says to her, I who speak to you am he, speaking of the Messiah that would come. And at the moment he makes that statement, that's when it switches to the fact that the disciples have walked back. Now, the disciples didn't just come around a corner. Jesus would have seen them coming. The woman would have seen them coming. They would have seen Jesus talking to the woman before they arrive. And that's the conversation between Jesus and the woman ends. Jesus reveals himself as the Messiah. The woman doesn't have a chance to respond, and now the disciples are among them. And notice what it says here. They marveled that he, Jesus, was talking with a woman, but no one said, what do you seek? Or why are you talking with her? They didn't address the woman because they already judged her. They didn't address Jesus because they probably had questions about what was going on, and they were afraid or embarrassed or ashamed to ask them. And so can you imagine you're having a conversation with someone who you see as so important, and other people walk up and they judge you so harshly that they won't even speak to the other person that they do like, much less speak to you. I mean, that's a harsh judgment. That is a crush to a person's emotions, to their stand in society, to their feeling of belonging. And that's what she faced, not just from her community, but from the disciples. And it continues here. So the woman left her water jar and went away into town and said to the people, come see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be the Christ? I love this about the Samaritan woman at the well, that she was so focused on the fact that she had met the Messiah that her need for water did not matter. The view of the disciples did not matter. She didn't care how they judged her. She had to go tell somebody she found the Messiah. And she goes back to the town, the very town that judged her, the very women that would have judged her. She went to them. And so let's see what happens in all of this. It says, based on the woman's witness, many Samaritans from that town believed in him because of the woman's testimony. He told them all that I ever did. So when the Samaritans came to him, they asked Jesus to stay with them. And Jesus stayed there 2 days. And many more believed because of his word. And their statement was, this is indeed the Savior of the world. Isn't that marvelous? Because this woman looked past the judgment of others, because she looked past the judgment of herself, she was able to do some great things. And so what's the lesson we have from that? Well, let's look at her example. So a person who was judged by the people, and we've all been judged by someone, who was judged by herself, and we've all looked down and been harsh on ourselves at times because of our past, because of who we feel we are. Judged by the disciples, so the religious leaders, if you will, the followers of Christ were looking down on her. But that didn't matter to her because she accepted Jesus as her Messiah. And as a result of that, because she was so Jesus focused and not focused on the judgment of others, she led an entire town to him. And that's marvelous. You want to see great things happen? Ignore the judgment of others and yourself and just point other people to Jesus Christ. Don't have them look at you. Just say, I know I'm not perfect, but look at my Lord. He is. If you do that, your life will change, first of all, but the lives of others around you will as well. And God will exalt you beyond the judgment of the world. It won't go away, but he will use you above it. And that's what we want to have happen. So read this entire story in John chapter 4 and learn these lessons from it. If you want help and encouragement in sharing your faith with others, reach out to us, send me a private message, and I'll be happy to work with you, work with your church to see that we set up an evangelism program for you personally and for your congregation. Have a great day. God bless you.